Hi freshmen, I hope you've had a nice start to your week, not at school. Now we're back and I want to give you some information on what you're going to be doing today. Obviously I'm not here today, and so the sub is there to monitor, but I wanted you to hear it from me what I wanted you to do today so that today is productive as we're getting ready to finish up your projects and move into fourth quarter. So here's what we're going to do today. If you look at the week at a glance here on Wednesday, okay, the first thing I want you to do is work on your Thing Link projects. Okay, those are due next Friday, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, next Friday. Even though I won't see you on Friday, that's when I'm going to start grading them. And then you also have a reading to do by Ta-Nehisi Coates called Between the World and Me. And your only homework to finish, hopefully you'll get it done in class, is to read and annotate that for next week's work. Okay. So if you'll go then back to the in-person day, the only thing in the in-person day is for the Between a World and Me, and I'm going to have you guys do that secondarily in class. I want you to start by working on your Thing Link projects. So as you go get computers here after watching, or you guys have computers, sorry, and you'll open up your Thing Link project, and I wanted to just remind you about some expectations as you're putting this together and finishing them. I pulled up a student from the red cohort. This is Jewel Lopez. Jewel has a really good project started, but it's not quite done. So let me explain to you what I like about Jewel's. First of all, she has the problem identified in its own separate icon. Okay, it's bright red. Okay, it's off to the distance, so I'm going to start there. Okay, and she's identified the problem as young teens are being tried as adults for actions they made when they were young. Okay, so that's her claim. That's good. And then what she has over here, she has a picture. Okay, so I told you that you can add pictures and videos. So what's great about this is that not only has she put the title here, okay, but she's given me a nice description of the article and then linked it properly. Okay, make sure you check your links because some of your links haven't been working. And this is the one she was working on at the end of class on Monday. She's got the link and the title. She just has to fill it in. But look at this one. She's got it linked. She's got a nice 3 to 5 sentence description, summary, and discussion of the solution. What I would want Jewel to do is go ahead and label the solution to the problem. That's what she can work on too. So just remember that I have access to all of these, and I was just looking at a couple of ours through our class. This is Alex's. Yours is looking great too. Here's what Alex has done that has been really helpful as well. Here's the problem identified. I might want Alex to go ahead and make that in its a different color so I can get to that one first. But Alex also has it identified the first solution: demilitarize the police and use the money from it to fund Black communities. Okay, so that is very clear to me what the solution is. Now I'm going to want to see an article that's tied to that and some description about how that article then gives you the solution. Okay, solution 2 is what Alex is working on right now. And then the rest of the links are videos, pictures, other articles from the folder that were interesting and meaningful that you could include in your project as well. So just remember that I want the solutions identified, I want the problem obviously identified, and then the rest of it is kind of up to you. If nobody had any background knowledge on your problem, what would you want them to know? What pictures would you want them to see? What videos would you want them to watch? What articles would you want them to read? Is a nice way to think about that. Okay, so if you're at a good place with that and do a little work on that, then it's time for you to move to what is homework, okay? What you're going to work on for most of class, and then what you'll have to have done, completed by the time I see you next week. So you're going to read this story, or it is a story. It's a nonfiction text by the author Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's a pretty famous current writer. He's a Black male from Baltimore, and he writes this book, and it's basically a letter to his son about how to survive as a Black male in America. And so the piece I have for you is an excerpt, which the sub will hand out to you. There's some instructions on how I'd like you to annotate it. There's also a trailer for an HBO documentary that goes with it, which is just kind of nice. I'm a visual person. I kind of need to see it first and hear it before I read it. So you might actually want to start there to get a little bit of background knowledge, and then you can go ahead and read it. So the sub will hand it out, It is right here as well on the third link. It says text, okay, if you'd like to read it online or complete this online. But here are the instructions. First of all, you need to number the paragraphs. There are only 9. And then after each paragraph, you'll go ahead and, or each section, you'll go ahead and draw a line. So let me have it load here. So draw a line under paragraph 1, under paragraph 4, under paragraph 6, under paragraph 8, and then it'll be over, okay? Next week when I see you, you're going to do some writing for me, an analysis paragraph. It's been a long time since we've written one of these. And here's the prompt. What does Coates, the last name of the author, suggest about the relationship, okay, the interaction, how the two are connected between man and injustice, basically? And you can even we could even make it more specific and say being a black man and justice versus injustice. Okay. As you read the text, you'll notice that he has 3 areas that he focuses on for how to survive as a black man when it comes to justice and injustice. And he talks about the streets, okay, like what it means to be a black youth or male growing up on the streets. The schools and how schools have affected the development of black people in our society, and then the community. So that's what your writing will be on, okay, eventually, not today. Today you're reading and annotating. As you read and annotate, you're going to underline or highlight important sentences that help you with man's relationship to justice and injustice. Okay, that's the first step. After you number the paragraphs and after you section it off, you're going to highlight important sentences that help you with man's relationship to justice or injustice. Okay, on the left margin, each paragraph, and it goes in order, it starts with the community, and then it goes on to the streets, and then it goes on to the schools. That's how it finishes up. You should label on the, just with that one word, okay, streets, schools, or community. Is this paragraph about the streets? Is this paragraph about the schools? Is this paragraph about the community? Okay, I already told you the answer. It starts with community, and then it goes to the streets, and then it finishes off with the schools. So just make sure you know where those ones are, because you're going to pick one of those that you'll then write about. Okay, so you're highlighting important sentences. You're labeling if the paragraph has to do with street, schools, and community. And then on the right margin, for any of the lines that you underline or highlight, I'd like you to, in the margin, jot down a few notes about what is the connection between man and justice in that moment, okay? And I have an example I think I can show you too. Actually, I think that's what I'll do. I have an example from my A-Day cohort. I will take a picture of it and also put it in this folder so you can see how I got them started with this, and you may directly copy my work onto your work so that you have a model before you do this on your own. Okay, and that's it. All right, so it's a little bit longer. It's 4 pages technically. Okay, you're not going to know every word. That's okay. I think another thing for background knowledge that would be good for you to know is that he talks about the assault on the body and the constant threat of violence and death, and that somebody or something will be taking our bodies. And so he uses that kind of big, a little bit dramatic way to discuss how, as he's writing this book to his son, that there are constantly going to be people who are assaulting your body, and he means that you don't get a say in what happens to you, I think, is part of it. And right now I'm even talking you through that man's relationship to justice or injustice. Is that occasionally black men, a lot of the time, maybe in the inner city, especially in the 80s, which he talks about, there's not a lot of control that black males had or have. And so this is the advice he's giving to his son, that, you know, you have to protect your body, you have to protect yourself and know the rules of the streets, and you have to know what the intention of school is and what the community/society is telling you about yourself and what you can and can't do. Okay, so there's 3 things as you're reading this text today. You can watch the video, of course. You can go ahead and section it off, number the paragraphs. That's all easy. But as you have to highlight, label, and write. Highlight important sentences that help you. Label the left margin with if the paragraph is about street, schools, or community. And then in the right margin, you're writing that connection. If you can manage this today, what you highlight will be the evidence in your writing when you do that next week. And what you do in the right margin will be, you know, what you write after the quote. So you're kind of doing the work now. Next week, you'll put it together in a paragraph of writing. So it's not on my screencast right now, but go back to the in-person day, and at the bottom of this list of things right here, I will link my example of the first few paragraphs so you know my expectations for how you finish it off. This you won't see. This is the Between the World and Me writing, the short constructed response, which you'll do next week. You can see it on my screen, but not yours. But this is what we're building to next week. All right, so work on your ThingLink projects. I think I told the sub to give you about 30 minutes to do that. If you're to the point where you don't need 30 minutes on the ThingLink project, then move on to the Between the World and Me. Go get it from the sub before he or she passes it out. I'll put that in the notes that you can come get it early and get started on it so that you're sure to have it finished by the time I see you next week. Okay? All right, I will see you then, and have a great day. I will talk to you later.